this. Can he get the shot away? He can, and that's a brilliant save from Daniel Black. Vinicius close, but Lino carries it into the penalty area. He's going to hit this. He does hit it, and he's tipped over the top by Thibaut Courtois. That's a lot more like Hendrick up against Lenormand. Jimenez is backtracking as well to help out. Hendrick hits the shot early, but all right. Is that over the ball? Griezmann strikes it, and he got it up and over the wall. He didn't take it. De Paul, he's found Correa. Correa turned it back from the byline, and Courtois had to save it in his near post. Galan into Correa. Correa can equalise. Correa has scored. The flag is up. And from the replay that we just seen, he's given the goal. And let's go Madrid. Players celebrate. They go crazy. From Garcia. He's been dispossessed. But the referee's given Real Madrid the free kick. And he's given us a straight red against Llorente. And Llorente's going to be sent off. No yellow card. Out comes the red. And let's go Madrid will finish the goal. 95 minutes. The 64th minute. Militao got the opening goal of the game. The two managers shake hands. That's about as friendly as it's got tonight. An ill-tempered, interrupted draw in the Madrid derby. Barca, the Royal winners. Final score.
Finance. Finance is important. Finance gives you the ability to do things. If all of the hottest women were in a building and it cost $500 to go inside that building to have drinks and you only had $100 to your name, you're not going to meet any beautiful women. That's the way the world is. It sounds like such a crazy example, but the world works that way. All of the most beautiful women in the world, with very few exceptions, are in high-end, luxurious places. They attract women. And if you're not there, you're not going to meet them. Finance is very important. You do not give women money, ever. You do not give them money for sex. You do not give them money to show off. You don't give women money. That's bullshit. However, your financial situation creates an aura of fun. Women love fun. I have a swimming pool in my house. Women love that. In the summer, they're coming here, jumping in the pool, taking their bikinis off. Now, are they thinking, this pool, 28,000 euros this cost. Oh, this pool costs so much money. Tristan has money. Wonderful. No. They're thinking, wow, swimming pool. That's it. Finance and your financial situation makes you fun. Now, this is something else that you are not going to hear anywhere else but this course. investing. Investing, you say? Investing your money to get women? That doesn't make any sense. You don't understand. You can invest in a city. You can invest in a club, in a bar. You can invest in your location. That doesn't mean buy shares. I'm talking about wasting your money. I call wasting my money investing. Why? I was once asked what the best investment I ever made was. I looked straight at my cousin. I said, you know what? One of the best investments I ever made was blowing hundreds of thousands of dollars right here in Bucharest. Champagne shows for drinks I don't drink. Getting all the sparklers come over, my name put up on the wall. Tipping really heavily in restaurants. Ordering lobster and champagne when I go out. Being out in clubs and bars all the time. Buying coffees all the time. Being cheap isn't cool. Now me throwing all this money around, I am the man that everybody knows. When I go into the club, everything is made possible for me. No smoking allowed. Have you ever seen a picture of me in a club without a cigar in my mouth? I have special privileges, special rights. Everyone treats me with respect. If I'm with a girl, the security shake my hand. The manager comes over with a free bottle of champagne every time I go anywhere. Because I've invested in becoming a somebody in this city. Nobody will give you this advice. The advice you read on the internet, be cheap, save £3.50 and don't buy that coffee, make a coffee at home. No, don't make a coffee at home. Go to a cool cafe and drink their fancy coffees every day. Tip the waiter heavily, then you're that guy. You go there on a date. Tristan, how are you doing, sir? Good to see you again, Mr. Tate. Has someone parked your car for you nicely? Investing in your city is important. And it's what most people will call wasting money. What does wasting money even mean? What is money for? You can't hold on to money. You never really even own money, even if you have it in your pocket. Money is just to be interchanged with other people. You got it because you sold something they want. You want good service, you throw it to someone else. You're just passing it around. Don't waste all your money, obviously, but you live in Atlanta, Georgia. I was in Atlanta, and there's a cigar bar where they would recognize me right now if I went there. Same in Hollywood, in California. There's a cigar lounge where they'd recognize me right now. Because I went there for 2 weeks, I was there 4 or 5 times, bought the most expensive cigars, tipped heavily, ordered some nice drinks. They know me today. So there are a few parts in the world, Moscow, Slovakia, some parts in the United States, certainly, where I would be, Stockholm now, where I'd be known on a first name basis if I walked into the establishment. But within my city, yes, I am a celebrity. I mean, I'm in the newspapers all the time. I'm actually a celebrity here. But again, that stems from my initial investment. The club owners knowing me, the barmen knowing me, everyone knowing who I was. Before the newspapers got a sniff of who was this Tristan Tate, I'd invested. So finance is important. Blow your money in the city you're in. You want to be a somebody? It's not free. You make good money, great, good for you. There are millionaires on Twitter, people who claim to be millionaires, who also talk about, oh, save all your money, don't spend it. Yeah, cool, that's all right. Yeah, you want no one to know who you are and have a big number in your bank account. Yeah, that's cool. I invest my money by blowing it in my city. It was the best investment I ever made. I'm one of the most famous faces in this city. I walk down the street, I get asked for photos all the time. Girls know who I am. I get hit up on Instagram by random females. Yeah, you want to be a playboy? Throw some money around. Finance is the second of the 5 F's. Exceptionally important. Number 3, fun. You have to be entertaining. Now, there are ways that nerds think you could be entertaining that don't work. Having a Lamborghini, for example. Having a Lamborghini does not make women want to have sex with you. It makes little boys want to drive around in your car. Women don't give a shit about driving around in your Lamborghini that much unless they like you. You have to make it fun. Having a supercar gets you an opening conversation. You park at the club, you walk inside. Is that your car? If you reply, yeah, that's my car. It has 600 horsepower and I got the tires custom from Germany and the body kit is actually from a custom body shop in Bucharest and I changed the color and I've got a special steering wheel. The girl's gonna be like, cool, see you later. If you're a boring twat, it doesn't matter what car you drive. It doesn't matter what car you drive. Hi, is that your car? No, it's yours. I'm gonna get drunk tonight, you're driving me home, yeah? Cool. Obviously, you don't really let her drive your car. But say something funny. I just came up with that off the top of my head. Say something witty. Say something entertaining. Being a millionaire, having nice things, having cool things, it doesn't get you pussy. It gets you a 5-second opener. And if you squander that, if you waste it, it was all for nothing. You have to be fun. Women don't care about money. They care about what's entertaining. Now, when I was broke, I used to have no money. I would be funny. I'd take girls on a date. I'd say, oh, you didn't wear high heels on our date in my Volkswagen Golf. They'd be like, no, where are we even going? Well, you know what? You're not wearing high heels. I'm going to take you to somewhere suitable. Brr, McDonald's. This was my routine. I go to McDonald's. I had a few pounds to my name. I roll in the window. Hi, I need an ice cream McFlurry. Yeah, bring me an ice cream McFlurry, but put extra love in it. What? What did you say? Extra love. Extra toppings? No, extra love. I'm on a date. I need to make her fall in love with me. Okay. The girl's laughing her ass off. She thinks it's hilarious. I give her ice cream. Is it working? Are you in love with me yet? Why'd you take me to McDonald's? Well, you weren't wearing high shoes. Ha ha ha. I didn't have any money. Make them laugh. Make them enjoy their time with you. And this is what I said about dating earlier. You have to implant yourselves in their mind. Wow, I had a wonderful time. That could be on her mind for 2 days while you're fucking your girlfriends and you're fucking other women. That could be on her mind all week while she's working. Maybe she's busy and she can't wait to see you again. You have to be fun. Fun is important. Now, this is very subjective. It varies from man to man. I don't know where you are. I don't know where you live. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you know. I don't know who you know. But you know, kill the mosquito. See? Boom, I'm a ninja. But you know how to have fun in your own city, I'm sure, or your own town. You know how to show a girl a good time. Don't be boring. Yeah, that is essential. And if you're a boring guy, work on it. If you're broke, work on it. If you're unfit, work on it. Those are the first 3 of the 5 Fs. Free time. Free time is essential. It kind of links to finance, because what money buys you is free time. You need to have free time. I was watching a dork who was a former Goldman Sachs trader who's saying, yeah, well, I used to go to bed at midnight, wake up at 4 in the morning, and I had one girlfriend, and one day she left me. She got up in the middle of the night at 4 when I woke up and started screaming at me, saying, are you kidding? You're never home. Okay, you're a Goldman Sachs trader. Maybe you're a Goldman Sachs trader. I don't know what you do, but you're working 70, 80 hours a week. Find a better way. If you really want to be an elite level playboy, you need to be working 40 hours a week max. 45 at the very, very upper limit. You can't do it any other way. All of my women, all of my girlfriends, all the sex that I have, all the dates that I go on, there's no 70-hour week where I can accommodate that. I'd have to cut my women, I'd have to cut them in half. Literally. So, yeah, free time is essential. It really is essential. And you need to be flexible with your time as well. The flexibility of time is just important as your free time, because if a woman says, oh, well, there's this place I want to go, or there's this lunch event at this restaurant, or I want to go to a swimming pool, or in the middle of the day when most dudes are at their 9 to 5, you need to be like, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, let's go. I'm going to come pick you up. It sets you aside from most men. Being available whenever you want, the flexibility is very important as well. Most guys work 9 to 5s. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you know, I'm going to take you out for a spin. Let's go for a drive. Let's go for a coffee. Being free at those hours when no one else is free is important. So yeah, you absolutely have to maximize your income, but minimize your hours worked. That's super important. If you're working a wage job, you're getting paid per hour, no shame in it, brothers. I used to do the same thing. But a way to get women, don't start working more hours. No, cut your workload in half. Do budget dates. You'll get more women than if you up your work hours. Trust me. Free time. Immensely important. Number 5. The F word. Fucking. You have to fuck your women right. Not just for them. I've covered about how it keeps relationships together. But fuck relationships. I'm talking about bitches, sluts, girls who are at your table, one night stands. Put the work in. I'm not going to tell you how to fuck. I'm not going to tell you how to please a woman. If you don't know, then you're never going to be an elite playboy. You never will be if you can't fuck. But when you do it right, it gets you more women. It really does. Women talk about this shit on a scale you have no idea. Believe me, If you fuck a girl, ignore your girlfriends. You don't want to be messing around with your girlfriend's friends anyway. But let's say you meet a girl for one night. You don't see her for 4 weeks. Oh, her friend's now following me on Instagram. Why is that? Because this bitch has been talking about, yeah, I met this guy Tristan. Yeah, he took me for a drink. He's a bit of an asshole. Oh my God, he fucked me so good. Yeah, he fucked me so good. Oh, I can't be mad at him. I'd like to see him again, actually, but he's not really texting me. Boom! Her friend hears you. Her friend's on it. Sex is immensely important. That is the most important one of the 5 F's. Because if you have everything else on point and you fuck your girl and you only last 30 seconds and then you fall asleep, you're a joke. You're never going to secure her into a relationship. You're never going to get the love. You're never going to get the respect. And you're never going to have the reputation that leads to residual women coming in. Those are the 5 F's. Remember, fitness, finance, fun.
Welcome back to the Trade Society Traders Improve podcast. I am your host. My name is Rolf. I am also the co-founder of Trade Society and edgewonk.com. And in this week's podcast episode, I'm going over 9 very important trading principles and skills that you have to develop if you want to have a chance of becoming a professional and profitable trader. And the 9 trading principles are not ranked in any special order, and I've just put them in random order. So let's get into the list. And the first principle on the list is do not system hop. And system hopping refers to constantly changing your trading strategy and moving from setup to setup and always trying to find something new. And those traders are trying to just find a trading approach that will somehow only produce winning trades and not encounter any losses. And of course, such an approach is futile because you do not just stumble over a profitable trading strategy that you turn on and then it won't stop printing money. And the best trading strategy won't help you make money if you have not developed the traits that a professional trader needs in order to execute the system and manage him or herself. Because in the end, you as the trader are always the weakest link in your whole trading endeavor. And some of those traits and principles that you are going to need to take a possibly profitable trading strategy and then also execute it in the best possible way are then also coming here next. Because the next point, and point number 2 on this list, is that you have to learn position sizing. And when traders talk about blowing up their trading account and realizing a margin call, and they've completely lost their whole trading account, maybe in a day, maybe in just 2 or 3 trades, such traders have usually violated important risk management principles. Because with proper position sizing, it should be nearly impossible to lose your whole trading capital, especially in a short amount of time. And a trader has to learn how to size a position correctly to achieve a constant risk level per trade. And in practice, usually traders opt for 1% or 2% per trade. And this means that you are risking 1% of your whole trading capital per single trade. For example, if your trading account is $10,000 your losses should not exceed $100 per loss. That is really important that you have a constant risk level. And being able to size your trades correctly is a key skill of any aspiring trader, because you don't want to be a gambler who experiences huge swings in your trading account. So it's really important that you learn to size your trades and also apply proper position sizing. The third point on the list is that you need to have an exit plan for every trade. And before you get into a trade, you should know where you want to get out. So you have to pick a stop loss level for every trade. And you also ask yourself, what should happen that would cause me to exit my trade prematurely? For example, in my trading, when I trade breakouts or when I trade trend continuations, I'm always looking for the market to struggle to advance into the trend direction. For example, if I am in a long position and then I see the market struggling to make a double top and maybe even a fake out, and there are more bearishness and bearish waves are coming into the market, this is for me often a sign to either take partial profits or completely exit the trade. And this is obviously different for every trader and every trading strategy, but it's really important that you have a plan in advance that you can follow that will help you to minimize your losses and to optimally manage your trades. Because traders who do not have an exit plan will often let losses get out of hand, when you don't know how to deal with a loss or potential loss. And also those traders are more likely to start trading emotionally. Point 4 from the list, you need to have clear trading rules. And a trade is more than just an entry. And to improve your consistency, you need to have a consistent trading approach. And amateur traders often jump around and they trade very impulsively. And this inevitably leads to impulsive trading results as well. And it causes a lot of stress in your trading. And one thing that will make your trading so much easier from a mental perspective, and it can also reduce a lot of stress, is just to have clear rules for your entry, for your exit, for your take profit, for your stop loss, and also for your trade management overall. And the clearer you are on how you respond to the different trading situations, depending on how the market will move and how it will respond to your trade, the more confident you will be in your trading. If you are often lacking confidence and you don't know how to respond, I would bet that you probably don't have very clear rules on your trading and you are always just making random rules up on the fly. And you have to take a look at your trading plan and make sure that you have very well-defined trading rules in place for all those aspects of your trading strategy. Point number 5, analyze your trading every week. And the best traders learn from their trading history. And by reviewing your past trades, you can learn so much from your mistakes and you can find out what to avoid or how to improve things that haven't been going so well. And you can always find ways to improve your underperforming trades to boost your overall trading performance. And your trading journal carries typically all of the answers. And to just bring it up, I'm also the co-founder of XAUUSD.com, which is an online trading journal. It works for Forex, futures, stocks, cryptos, and all the markets. And as a Trade Society listener and supporter, you can go to edgewonk.com and then use the discount code Trade Society to get a discount on your trading journal. So back to point number 5, which is reviewing and analyzing your trades every week. And I would recommend going over your last week's trading activity during your weekends. It's typically enough to just dedicate an hour, maybe 90 minutes on a Saturday or a Sunday. And you are trying to find one thing every week that you could have done better. And then you want to focus on this one principle next week. And over time, if you do this regularly, week after week, you'll be able to completely transform your trading by making small and consistent improvements. Point number 6, you have to learn how to lose. And no matter how good you are as a trader, if you cannot lose, you will not be making money long term. And I have seen quite a few traders with very impressive chart analysis skills, and they seem to be right almost all the time. But when such a trader hasn't learned how to lose properly, he will often give back all of his profits in just one trade. And I've mentored so many traders who can hold it together for weeks and months at a time. They're performing really, really well. But then this one situation comes around when they let their loss get out of hand. They engage in revenge trading. They maybe take even off their stop loss. And those are signs that a trader cannot lose. And this is really damaging for your trading account. And I've seen traders who trade profitably for 6 months, 12 months, who give back all of their profits in just a few days or maybe even a week. And those traders have not learned to lose. And as a trader, you must accept that you will be wrong from time to time. You will not be able to trade with a 100% win rate. No matter how good you are, such traders do not exist. And many traders will intellectually understand that losing is part of trading. But when it comes to actually dealing with losses in your real-time trading and seeing the price go against your trade, such traders will start panicking and all good intentions will go out the window. And the trader that truly accepts that any trading strategy can and will fail over time is almost halfway there. Trading is not about not losing, but trading is about minimizing your losses and maximizing your profits. Point number 7, trade only when everything looks perfect. Overtrading is a problem that most amateur traders face in their beginning stages. And new traders believe that they have to always be in the market. And as you progress as a trader, you will learn that trading less often is the key to actually making money. And this may sound counterintuitive because you may ask yourself, how can you make money by trading less? But this is actually how trading works. And after you have crafted your trading rules, you need to be very selective in your trading. and only trade when all rules are completely met, and you have to avoid any trading situations that you don't feel comfortable with. Your trading strategy is usually trying to extract and adapt it to a very specific kind of market environment and market situation. And you have to make sure that you are avoiding trading when the market is not ready and not fully agreeing and meeting your criteria, because then you have a much lower chance of making money and having a winning trade. So it's very, very important that you are absolutely clear on when your trading strategy performs best, and that you are very selective and very patient, waiting for everything to align. Point number 8, you want to play the long game. Trading is not a get-rich-quick scheme, and becoming a profitable trader can take years. And even when you are profitable, it can then take more decades until you are making any meaningful amount of money. And when you read the biographies of the top traders, you won't find anyone who became wealthy within just a few years. It usually took them decades. Expectation management is so important for your overall development as a trader. Are there people who become rich within just 2 years? Possibly. Is it the norm? Certainly not. What would make you believe that you are an outlier? What separates you from the hundreds of thousands of traders who work very hard every day, who dedicate all their time and their resources to becoming a better trader? I'm not saying this to kill your dreams, but to help you establish a realistic and an achievable vision. Because the traders who have unrealistically high expectations will inevitably make bad trading decisions in order to find shortcuts, and then they end up frustrated with a damaged trading mindset. And finally, point number 9, you have to take trading seriously. If you are serious about trading, you have to treat it like a real job. You don't want to waste your money and your time by treating trading like just any other hobby. There are much better uses of your time and your money. You won't become a professional trader in a few years if you only spend a few hours on your trading every week. But if you are serious about devoting the next 5 or 10 years to becoming a better and professional trader, make sure that you give it your all so that you have a realistic chance. And I have a helpful checklist to help you assess whether you take trading seriously enough. Do you have a trading journal, and do you enter all of your trades regularly? Do you review your trading journal once a week to find weaknesses and try to come up with ways to improve? Do you have trading plans ready before you get into your trades? Do you backtest at least once a week? Do you have clear rules for your trading written down? Do you know how to size your trades correctly and every trade has the same risk size? Do you avoid large losses, and all of your losses are relatively similar in size? And also, do you avoid system hopping and you do not jump around systems? If you find yourself lacking one or multiple points from the checklist, this is a great opportunity to improve your trading. And I hope those 9 points help you look at your trading with a different set of eyes. Don't expect to turn your trading around completely in 1 week, but pick one thing from the list and start making changes in your trading. You don't want to overwhelm yourself. Just make one improvement after the other and see how it benefits your trading. Welcome back to the Trade Society Traders Improve podcast. My name is Rolf and I am the host of the Traders Improve podcast, where I release a new podcast episode every week. I'm also the co-founder of TradeSociety.com and XAUUSD.com, and I've been trading myself for over 16 years. In this week's podcast episode, I'm discussing the question, how do you find the right trading strategy for you? Many traders are actually aware of the fact that you have to find a trading system that suits you and is well adapted to your personal strength and your weaknesses. But after having worked with thousands of traders over the years, I've seen that the true meaning of this statement and how to actually find a trading system that fits you, most traders don't fully understand, or they approach it from a wrong angle. And it is so important to find or to build a trading system that fits you personally. If you're trying to trade a trading strategy that is not fully aligned with your personal strength and your weaknesses, you will quickly run into problems. You can have the greatest trading system that is working very well for some other trader, but then you try it out and your results are completely different and you just can't make it work. I've seen this so many times. You need to have a trading system that is adapted to your own personal situation, your strength and your weaknesses. But how do you get there, and what are the parts of a trading strategy that you need to adapt to yourself? When confronted with this question, most traders will straight away jump to the old discussion of price action versus indicators. They will dive into moving average settings. Should you use a 20 or a 14 period RSI? And they get into the nitty-gritty of how they are finding trade entries. And yes, I will also cover this part of your perfect trading system in a few moments. However, the most important part of your trading system is something else. And if you've been struggling with finding the right trading system for you, then I'm quite positive that the reason is not a wrong moving average setting or an incorrect use of support and resistance. The reason why a trading system doesn't suit you is usually found somewhere else. In the first step, we should look into the overall design of the system and the broader parameters, because this is where the true differences of your trading system exist, and this is how you adapt the system to your personal situation. For example, we can start at your personal situation, your circumstances. Then this means the time availability. If you are not a full-time trader yet, you still have a day job and you cannot freely watch your charts around the clock, time availability components need to be addressed first, because this determines what kind of trading system overall you are even able to trade. And if you are not aligning the system that you are trading to your situation, you will quickly run into problems because it's just not possible for you to execute the system as it is designed to work. Trading the lower time frame and trading a few hours a day as a day trader might not even be an option and might not even be possible for you. For that reason, many amateur traders start out on the higher time frames. Some of the traders that I am mentoring and have mentored have also negotiated that they get 1 weekday off from their regular day job, and then they spend it fully on their day trading if they feel that day trading is really where their strengths are. And you can also use your holidays to dedicate to day trading specific sessions as well, to try it out and to see if this is what is working well for you and if this is where your strengths are. Second, I would address the need to trade for you personally, and which means also then the trade frequency. So how many trades and how often does your system generate trading signals? I've mentored many traders that have a need to trade, which means that they are better off using a trading system that generates trading opportunities regularly, and they don't have to wait for a long time between their signals. Of course, you could also try to work on yourself and start forcing yourself into trading higher time frames with more waiting time and fewer trading opportunities. But in the beginning, it is usually easier to just tailor your system around your current strength and weaknesses and not try to completely reshape your personal situation and your frame of mind. Getting into trading alone is already challenging enough, and then trying to turn yourself around at the same time might be asking too much for most aspiring traders in the beginning. So it's really important that you are aware of how waiting for trades make you feel, or if you start making bad trading decisions when you get impatient. And this is a very, very important factor when considering the framework of the system. So should you generally be trading a higher or a lower time frame is a question of trade frequency, but also on the time availability that you have based on your personal situation with your day job and other obligations with your family and hobbies as well. Next, I would address the ability to handle open positions and risk factors. If you are trading on a higher time frame, if you hold your trades for a longer amount of time, you will typically have to hold your trades overnight, over weekends sometimes, and also during news events. And I've seen that different traders deal with those different types of situations very, very differently. Whereas some traders have no problem sleeping and being in a trade while they cannot watch the trade and while they're sleeping and while they're at a job, other traders cannot handle the stress and they make bad trading decisions when they're trying to trade such a system. They are mismanaging their trades, over-managing, and in general just making very bad risk management decisions. So it's really important that you understand your personal situation when it comes to those types of risk factors as well, and then you build a trading strategy based on how you are best able to handle it. If you cannot stay in trades overnight, then a swing trader is probably not the right approach for you, and you are not able to be a swing trader maybe just yet. Or you have to address this in your risk management, so you have a very limited and very reduced position sizing, so that even if something happens overnight, which you will never be able to predict in advance, and it can always happen, there are always black swans possible in trading and in the financial markets, especially in those very unpredictable and volatile periods of 2022, 2023, and who knows what might be ahead. So it's very important that you address this and that you also get a feel for how you respond to those types of situations. You have to start paying very close attention and start being aware of your personal makeup, your responses, and hopefully you also have a trading journal like Edgewonk, where you are then able to reflect on your decisions, you are able to review your trades, and then also find patterns in your behavior that can help you understand yourself better as a trader. And those are, I would say, the basic frameworks of your trading system, and they will typically help you understand of whether you should be trading a higher time frame, where patient is a bigger factor, where you don't have as many trading signals necessarily, but also other things such as the amount of instruments you are or should be watching. Do you easily get overwhelmed and you are not good at fast decision making? Then trading fewer systems and fewer instruments is usually the right approach. If you have problems with patience and you are still having to trade the higher time frames because of your personal life conditions and circumstances, then you might want to add more instruments, so that even though individual trades will take longer to play out, because you have more markets that you are watching overall, you still get a good amount of trading opportunities every week. And this is very important that you address this type of questions first, so that you understand which way to go down as a trader. And I have seen it in my mentoring very often that once a trader understands what type of trading system he should be going for in the broader framework, then often the things fall into place. And previously, if a trader was trading a system that is not well aligned with his personal situations, then he is not often able to execute the trades optimally, and he's often not even aware of why. But once you start becoming aware of it, and once you understand what are the different parameters of a system and how do those things manifest in your day-to-day trading, then you will be able to understand those parameters and those factors much better. And then of course we can go also into the strategy specifics. So how do you find entries? How do you manage your trades? Do you use price action indicators? What are the types of tools that you are using? And also the length and the period settings for your indicators. And some tools may make more sense to individual traders. However, my view after having traded myself for 16 years and I've been mentoring thousands of traders for the last 8 years has shifted over the years. Because the traders, or many traders, will say that indicators are not for them, they're not their thing, maybe they have prejudice against indicators. What I can often see is that those traders just haven't learned what indicators truly are, how to use them properly, and they use them ineffectively and maybe even in a completely wrong context. And once a trader is able to see the beauty and the use cases for specific indicators, very often their viewpoint changes. And for that, what I would recommend is try out different tools and get a feel for the execution and for the differences between the different tools. And when I say try out different things, I'm not meaning just blindly jumping around trading systems and always trying something new, but I do mean that you do this with a very concrete plan and intentions. So it's done intentionally and not impulsively. What I would recommend is that you do regular backtests. I recommend this to all of the traders that I mentor, and I've seen that the traders that put more time into their backtest and that they try out different systems, but they try it out in a way where they backtest the system, they collect the stats, they really get a feel for the system, and they dedicate maybe a month or 2 months to a specific system. They spend a few hours backtesting it, then they will be able to come to a solid conclusion of how they feel about the system. They will typically learn much more about the tools that are using, and they will also really advance in their trader's journey. And if you go this way of thoroughly backtesting and record keeping, you will be able to shift your focus, and you will be able to shift your view on the different tools. And then you can make much better trading decisions. What has to happen then also is that your overall focus has to shift on how you plan for your trading journey or your so-called trading career and your trading path as an aspiring trader. You have to get away from the mindset that you are trying to make a lot of money right away in your trading, especially in your first 2 to 3 years. The focus should not be on trying to make as much money as you possibly can and trying to get rich very quickly, but your focus should be really on trying to understand the ropes of trading. Your focus should be on trying to understand what type of trader are you, where are your strengths, where are your weaknesses as well, and also at the same time trying different systems out, going to a higher time frame, going to a lower time frame, trying a price action only system, trying an indicator only system. I've seen and talked to many traders around the world, professional traders, and they trade very differently. I've seen professional traders trade only with indicators. I've seen traders trade profitably and professionally only with price action. And it's not so much about the system and the tools that are using, but it's about everything else that makes sense to them. And how they have found a system is usually through just trial and error, but trying things out with purpose, with intention, with record keeping professionally, not jumping blindly around on Twitter or forums and trying to find the next best thing. And all of those things are going into the question, how do you find a perfect system? So unfortunately, there's no one size fits all answer here. However, what I have seen time and time again is that it's a process, it's a repeatable process. It's not that it's completely in the unknown. Of course, there are so many unknowns and there are so many variables in trading. However, the path that the best traders that I have seen take is usually very similar. They give themselves time, they don't rush, they don't try and force and only look at the side of the money side of trading, but they really try to understand it. They are curious, they try out things, they put a lot of time into backtesting, into record keeping, into analyzing, and then over time they slowly progress and move into the right direction. And this is then how you typically end up in a situation where you have a perfectly well adapted trading system that fits to you in all types of areas, and all the parts and all of the components are perfectly aligned to your own situation. And this is also one of the big components and the big parts what I'm doing in my new trading program, the Trade Academy. I've been doing mentoring of traders for many, many years. And in the beginning, what I would be doing is I have a trading system and I would share it with other traders. However, what I have found, the best results are that I give traders options. I show them different systems and I show them different ways how to adapt the system to your own personal situation. And I try to show those traders also what are even the parts of a trading system that you can adapt, that you can change, and that has to be adapted to your own situation. And I have seen that once traders understand not only the system, but how to adapt a system and how to build a system, how to backtest, how to go through the process of creating a new system, combining rules, what are the different components of a trading system that need to be addressed. This is where you see the biggest progress that the traders make. And if you're interested in the Trade Academy, make sure to check the link in the podcast description, or if you're watching this podcast on YouTube, there's also a link in the video description. And if you're interested in taking your trading journey to the next level, have me as your trading mentor, then I look forward to seeing you in the Trade Academy. Welcome back to the Trade Society Traders Improve podcast, and in this week's episode I'm going over the 7 most important character traits and skill sets that a trader needs to develop. But before we're going to get in, I just want to quickly introduce myself. My name is Rolf. I am the co-founder of TradeSociety.com, and also I'm a co-founder of the Edgewonk.com online trading journal. I've been trading myself for over 16 years, and 7 or 8 years ago I started the TradeSighty.com website where we provide free but also paid premium trading education. And also 7 years ago we started our online trading journal on edgewonk.com, which works for forex, futures, cryptos, commodities, stocks and index trading. And we do support most of the common trading platforms. If you want to import your trades directly into Edgewonk, you can do that with just a few clicks in Edgewonk. I also want to quickly say thank you for the great support. It's always great to see when you reach out to me on Twitter, email, or the other channels, and let me know that you are enjoying this podcast. The podcast I often feel is more of a one-way street because I'm sitting here and talking by myself, and in contrast to YouTube where we do still have the comments function and I can read what you are saying about my videos, the podcast I feel sometimes is more of a lonely endeavor. And so it's great for me to see that you are enjoying it. I really appreciate any feedback, and also thank you for everyone who on iTunes or Spotify leaves those 5-star reviews. It's great to see and it makes me want to do more podcasts regularly. But now let's get into this week's episode. So I want to go over the 7 most important traits, character traits and skill sets that you need to develop as an aspiring trader. And those traits are not ranked in any specific order, so I don't think one is particularly more important than the other. And I want to start with patience as the number 1. And in trading, I've said it previously, there are 3 levels of patience. First, you need to be patient when you're waiting for your trades before you get into the trade. And many traders suffer from FOMO, the fear of missing out. They often break their trading rules and jump into trades too early without getting the necessary validation from their trading strategy or waiting for all of their trading rules. And waiting for trades and making sure that your trades meet all of your criteria is essential. And impulsive trading must be avoided. What I find very helpful here is having a trade checklist where you write down all of your entry criteria and then you put it in front of you when you're about to take a trade. That helps you bring a little bit more awareness and objectivity to your decision making. Also then later, when you're entering your trades in your trading journal, hopefully Edgewonk, you will be able to relive your trades once again, and then you will be confronted with your mistakes that you are hopefully making less and less after some time. But in the beginning, confronting your mistakes in your journal can also raise the level of awareness. The second level where patience comes in is that you need to be patient when you are in a trade. And maximizing winning trading opportunities and holding on to profitable trades long enough, that really makes the difference between winning and losing traders. And many losing traders cut their winners too early because they fear giving back profits. And when you cut your winning trade short, trading profitably is nearly impossible when your losses, which will occur inevitably, eat up all of your profits. And therefore, you should have an exit plan and you backtest your exit strategy. And this can be hugely beneficial to help you gain confidence in your rules and also to know what to expect. And finally, the third layer or level of patience is that you need to be patient when you grow your trading account. Impatient traders take too much risk when they are trying to grow their trading capital too quickly. And managing your risk and taking a reasonable position size is a cornerstone of a professional and profitable trader. You can just go through your last few trades, look at the outcome that you realized, and also look at your equity graph. If you see a large moves up and down, a lot of volatility in your trading account, then this is often a sign that you may have problems with proper position size. And so I would really focus on getting the position sizing correct and implementing some rules. Pick a number, whatever it may be, 0.5, 1%, 2% per trade, and then try to apply it for every trade. And also, when your trade hits your stop loss, get out, don't revenge trade, don't move your stop, don't get in back with a bigger position size. This is going to ruin you eventually. The second trait is curiosity. And what I have found working with good traders over the years is that good traders are curious and they are constantly trying to improve their way of trading. And curiosity doesn't mean that you are jump from trading strategy to trading strategy, which we are calling system hopping, and you don't trade without any consistency. A curious trader how I see it, is always looking for ways to get better. A curious trader is continuously challenging his current trading approach. And curious traders spend a lot of time backtesting new trading rules or poring over their trading journal, trying to find ways to improve their existing edge. So curiosity leads traders to ask questions, but it also makes them want to find out the answers to their questions by putting in the time, doing the backtest, going over the trading plans, and just being curious and pursuing their curiosity. The third trait is humility. And good traders do not get their ego involved in their trading, and they have no need to prove themselves. Especially in times of social media, many people feel the need to show off to prove themselves. And as a trader, arrogance and an unhealthy ego are two character traits that will make it almost impossible to succeed in this business. And as a humble trader, you understand that you cannot force your success. You have to go with the flow. You don't force the market to do what you want it to do. You can merely respond to what the market is doing, and you have to fully accept this fact. And finally, you also have to accept that being wrong is a normal part of trading. Humble traders can take losses effectively because they understand that losses cannot be avoided. A loss also doesn't mean that you are a bad trader. A single trade outcome is not important, and you cannot let your ego get attached to the outcome of your trade. The fourth skill or character trait is self-awareness. A self-aware trader is able to look at himself or herself and his approach to trading objectively. Self-aware traders usually have a very good understanding of their strengths and their weaknesses, and are then able to build their trading strategy around their personal profile. And keeping a trading journal and constantly reviewing your trades can help you improve your self-awareness by actively confronting and reliving your trading behavior to spot weaknesses and understand where you are leaving money on the table. When going through your past trades, here are some helpful questions that you can ask yourself. What could I have done better with this trade? Did I break my trading rules? Have I repeated harmful trading behavior? Did I exit the trade optimally? How do I feel about my trade? Was I trading emotionally? And those questions are already a great starting point for your review process, and they will help you develop a better self-awareness over time. Character trait number 5, flexibility. In trading, we often say traders get married to their trades, which means that after they have done their chart analysis and come to the conclusion about the price action, they have a very hard time letting go of the specific trade idea. What then happens is that those traders end up forcing trades, they jump into trades too soon, and they're also not being able to see contradictory trading signals that would invalidate their initial trade idea. Furthermore, a trader that is married to his trades will often also mismanage the trade after he has taken it. Typically, traders then hold on to losses too long, and they overlook trading signals to exit their trade optimally. In the end, such traders do not stick to their trading plan, and they simply get too attached to their trades. Good traders, on the other hand, are able to look at their charts and their trades objectively, and they make objectively optimal trading decisions that are grounded in their reality and on the chart analysis that they are seeing. And creating a trading plan before you take a trade and knowing when to get out in advance can help traders make much better trading decisions and trade less impulsively. Point number 6, or trait number 6, emotional control. Not giving in to your impulses and always making objective trading decisions are essential to trading success. Traders who are driven by their emotions trade recklessly, they break their trading rules and cannot handle losses effectively, and typically also do not apply sound risk management principles. Traders must be able to control their emotions and resist the urge to trade impulsively. Having well-defined trading rules and regularly backtesting your trading strategy to understand what to expect from your trading can make a huge difference here. The clearer you are about your approach to trading, the less impulsive a trader usually is. You should have clear rules for your trade entries, your trade exit, your trade management, and for your risk management. I would recommend to write down your trading rules and then backtest them as often as you can. You should collect data for each backtest and then evaluate the performance. And this will help you build confidence and improve your pattern recognition. And finally, the 7th and the last trait, discipline. And discipline is really the glue that holds everything else together in your trading. And being a disciplined trader means that you do the things that you know you should be doing, whether you feel like doing them or not. And undoubtedly, backtesting and journaling your trades are two of the most important and most beneficial activities you can do for your trading. But most traders do not put in the time and avoid engaging in those activities. Traders often procrastinate, they come up with excuses, and they simply don't take their trading seriously enough to set aside time for dedicated practice. The disciplined trader, however, knows about their importance, and although he doesn't feel always like doing another backtest or logging his trades in his trading journal, he does it anyway because he knows that without it, success in trading is not possible. And as a true professional, there is no room for excuses. Professionals do the thing that they know they should be doing, regardless of how they feel. Welcome back to the Trade Society Traders Improve podcast, and in this podcast episode I'm going to share my top tips for new, young, aspiring traders. Now that I am approaching 40, I want to share the top tips that I have learned trading myself for almost 2 decades and also having mentored traders for roughly 7 to 8 years. And the first thing that I want to share and my first tip is that you have to understand that time is your most important asset when you're in your 20s or in your early 30s. It might not seem like it while you are maybe 20, maybe you're 25. And I remember myself when I was in my 20s, it felt like time was racing and that I needed to get going quickly and become successful quickly because I felt that I was getting old. And I think that this feeling never really goes away. As I said, I'm now approaching 40 and the same thoughts are still in the back of my mind today. I keep hearing the words, you are too old, you don't have much more time to do whatever, you better hurry up. But I'm sure that in the next 10 years or in the next 20 years when I'm turning 50 or 60, I will look at the time right now and I will tell myself that when I was 40, I had all the time in the world. And although life may seem short at times, it is in fact quite long from what I have learned in my short time here. And you can actually pack so much in 5, 10 or 20 years and still have many, many decades ahead of you. And so I think the first most important thing is really that you understand and fully appreciate that time when you are young in your 20s, early 30s, time is really on your side. And this brings me to the next point because you have to start playing the long game. This is your biggest advantage when you're young and when you are starting out as traders. And once you realize that you have time on your side and it's not running against you, which I think unfortunately most people will not actually realize and therefore still make unnecessary mistakes and take the wrong decisions, you can approach your trading very differently once you actually would realize it. And most traders that get involved in trading believe that they can realize maybe 10 or 20% return every month right after getting started. And such goals and such beliefs are really damaging because they lead to bad decision making when it comes to risk management and position sizing and also trade selection. Traders risk way too much to achieve those high performance goals, and they also trade way too much. Overtrading is here the keyword, to hopefully meet their trading goals and their performance goals. And then you do those calculations where you put up an Excel sheet and you calculate that within 2, 3, 5 years you can take a $2,000 account and turn it into 5 or 10 million. I know we've all been there, but having such an approach as a trader and believing that this is a realistic approach will lead to a lot of bad decision making. It will lead you to go down the wrong path as a trader. And what will happen with those traders, I've seen it many times, they will waste years and years of their life that they could spend productively towards their trading. And what happens is that you have those traders who maybe are into trading for 5 years and they have not made any real progress because they are always chasing this get rich quick mindset, whereas you could have spent those 3-5 years into your slow gradual progress, your slow gradual development of your trading skills, your trading knowledge, slowly building your trading capital, and therefore setting you up for success long term. Yes, while you're in the moment right now, this approach may seem like it will take 2, 3, 5 times as long compared to what your Excel spreadsheet tells you how fast you could achieve millions, but long term this is always the right approach to go the long route. I've seen it so many times and it's always the same. Many are just constantly system hopping, jumping from one system to the next, hoping to find a profitable system that can just turn on and make money right away. But they don't put in the time to study trading deeply enough. And in my mentoring program, I go through performance of some of the best traders managing millions of dollars. I also take a look, and what is really helpful, I think, when you go to Darwinix, for example, they have like a leaderboard where they show their top traders and how much money they're actually managing and the percentage return that are pulling in. And what you will often see in that the top traders managing multiple seven figures, they usually have a return maybe between 30 and 40% per year. And this can serve as a huge aha moment for many traders who previously were chasing unrealistically high performance goals. And setting yourself a performance goal of 2%, maybe 3% per month is actually quite realistic for many traders to achieve. And although it might not sound too sexy to realize 3% per month short term, if you can keep this up long term, and if you're in your 20s, you have 10, 20, 30, easily 40 years ahead of you, and those numbers will add up. And if you can keep this performance up, 2% a month, 3% a month, 20, 30% a year, there are really no limitations to what you can achieve with your trading. And once you realize that, and once you see that trading is not only what you see on social media, but trading can be something really different when you look at the other side of trading, how many professionals approach it. This can often help traders to open their eyes and have those really, really important aha moments. Which brings me to another very important point on how you should approach your first 12 to 24, maybe 36 months of your trading. And there are different stages that a trader goes through. And in the beginning, and here I really mean 12 to 24, maybe even 36 months if you want to give yourself the time and not rush through it, a trader should try out as much possible, as much trading strategies, as much trading approaches as possible. And I don't mean here just blindly system hopping and jumping around. And what I mean is dedicated periods of trying, for example, a day trading strategy, and then after maybe 3 or 4 months going for a swing trading strategy. And I recommend to my traders to start day trading for a few months, then go to the longer swing trading timeframes. Then after 4 months again, go back to day trading for 3, 4, 5 months, and then go back to swing trading. And try each trading approach for 3, 4, 5 months, and then switch to the next one. And you really have to pay attention to how it feels and what are the differences. Do you feel comfortable being a day trader? How do you like the fast-paced environment of day trading, where you have to make a lot of quick decisions every single day, where you have multiple trades? Or do you get overwhelmed and do you get emotional easily? And then also listen to yourself when you switch to the other end of the extreme, when you go to swing trading. Does it feel better or does it feel worse compared to day trading? How can you handle the patient aspect of swing trading compared to day trading? Do you mind waiting for trades, or do you actually prefer the slower pace where you can make your analyses, where you can walk away from your computer and really try to listen to yourself? Don't try to just blindly copy what someone else is telling you, but really try to find out for yourself, where do you fit in this broader perspective, in this broader concept. And once you have figured this out, this is already such a huge step. The problem that many traders have is that they just blindly jump around without having a real plan, and they never really listen to themselves, and they don't really fully understand where they should be focusing their energy and their concentration on. While we are still at the more practical side of trading, I would really recommend that you, as soon as possible in your early trading days, try to establish good trading habits. And good trading habits, I mean, is that first of all, you have dedicated periods of deliberate practice. You put in a lot of time in your backtest, but also hand in hand goes record keeping, not only for your backtest, but also for your actual trading. It is so important that you have a trading journal and that you record your trades. You can pull up any trading book that is always listed, any trading book that is recommended, and you will find that a trading journal is the #1 most recommended trading tool that all traders and all books will agree that you need to have. And that's also why we created Edgewonk on the edgewonk.com trading journal, because we saw the need for having a good, reliable software that helps you to track your trading results in an easy, effortless way and then provide actionable tips. And having a trading journal where you record your trades and then you can relive your trades and you can actually look at your trades objectively after you have taken them, that can be such a huge aha moment once you are confronted with your bad and negative trading behaviors. And what I've seen many times is that traders have those negative patterns that they keep repeating the same mistakes over and over again, and that is costing them so much money. And very often they're not even aware of it. But if you have a trading journal and then you review your trades regularly, and just alone the process of putting in your trades into your journal can make a huge difference when you are confronted with your trades. Most traders, after they have taken the trade and closed the trade, they will never look at their past trades ever again. And then obviously you cannot learn from it. So record keeping is really important. The controversial take from me is that I would recommend that you have to trade demo. Of course, you need to learn the ins and outs, how to size a position correctly. But the longer you are on a demo account, what I have seen, the more likely it is that traders adopt negative and bad trading behavior. On a demo account, nothing really matters. You don't get punished for bad trading behavior. You can just refresh and reset your trading account and then you are back at zero. And this is obviously not how trading works. And the traders who spend months or even years on a demo account, they will often have those negative patterns that they have established and created on a demo account, and then unlearning them in a real account just takes so much time and so much effort on top of everything else that is coming to you when you are starting trading real money, that this is a huge problem for many traders. So yes, demo trading is important. There's definitely and certainly a place for a demo account, but limit your demo trading. What I would recommend is that very early on, learn to size positions. And this is probably one of the most important things for traders. When traders, as we say in trading, blow up their trading account, you receive a margin call. What happens is that you have maybe one or two trades where you risk so much that one or two or maybe three single trades wipe out your whole trading account. And this can only happen if you have completely broken and violated your risk management principles. A trader who has a position size approach of risking maybe 1%, maybe 2%, maybe even 3% on the high end of the spectrum will not be able to completely blow up their trading account fast. It takes dozens and hundreds of trades if you rescale and reposition your trading account, your trading size. So one thing that is really important and that I recommend to all of the traders and also my traders, I tell them this is so important that you are able to size the position correctly. You pick your entry point, you know where to get out, you calculate the amount of lots or stocks or whatever you are trading, contracts you need to buy to achieve a 1 or 2% position size goal. And then you know that if you get taken out, you are down 1% or 2%. You're not down 20 or 30%. You don't have those crazy fluctuations in your trading account. And this is so important that you learn it early on. So learning position sizing and having really good risk management practices in place is something that I would recommend to all new young traders, but in general for all traders. This is obviously a core skill that you need to be able to do to size a trade correctly. The next thing and the next point I want to address, my tip for new aspiring and especially young traders, is that I would still recommend that you get an education. And when you look around on social media or YouTube or listen to other podcasts, many people will actually tell you that getting a degree is not worth it and that you are wasting your time and money. And my take here is a bit different, and also my approach, what I did in my life actually is very different. And I personally believe that getting an education and learning an actual skill or a craft is really, really important and can be hugely beneficial long term. It doesn't have to be a university degree necessarily, and if it would require you to go into debt and take a lot of debt on, it might indeed not be the optimal decision, but there are many other ways how you can go about this, how you can learn a craft and develop skills. And if you have a particular interest there and you are drawn towards a particular job and a skill, I personally believe that you should follow your interest, especially if you're in your 20s or maybe in your late 20s. Learning a new craft may only take anywhere between 3 and 5 years, and I personally believe that this is totally worth it. If you have learned a skill and if you've gotten a education, it can serve as a backup plan for a later. And you never know how life will unfold for you, and being able to get a job whenever needed can provide a lot of security and also put your mind at ease. I personally also get a 5-year degree, and although I rarely ever used it, it taught me so much, and I also always knew in the back of my mind that if anything would go wrong, I could always get a decent job to pay the bills. And this put me personally a lot at ease, and it took a lot of pressure off my shoulder. And I, looking back, knowing what I know now, I wouldn't change this looking back, and I would always do it over again. And this brings me to the next point. You don't necessarily have to become a full-time trader. And I do not recommend that your immediate goal should be to become a full-time trader for multiple reasons. First of all, having to pay your bills by trading alone and having to provide for your family with your trading profits can put a lot of stress on your shoulders. And in trading, stress often leads to really bad decision making. I've also mentored traders that went full-time at one point with pretty good results under their belt, but when they started trading as their full-time profession, their results got worse immediately. And this can have many reasons. As I said, the pressure of having to pay your bills from trading can really destroy your mental game. But I also found that humans need social component. And although you might say that you don't always like your coworkers, if there's one thing that the pandemic has taught us, is that being stuck at home all day, every day is not optimal. And trading is and can be really a lonely profession at times. And it's also a high pressure environment. So being stuck in front of your computer might not be the optimal decision, especially if you're more of a social person. Then maybe having this goal of becoming a full-time trader is not the optimal way. And I've seen it many times that maybe such a 50-50 or 60-40 split where you do keep maybe a half-time position, maybe 2 days a week, where you do something that you actually enjoy besides trading that also brings in some money, can be hugely beneficial for your trading, but also for your mental well-being. And finally, especially if you are young in your 20s, money is probably not a resource that you have abundantly, and it takes money to make money, and therefore you probably are much better off having a job that allows you to put money aside that you can dedicate later towards your trading account. Funding nowadays might also be a possibility, but most funding challenges have very, very aggressive target returns and goals for traders. Often you have to break your risk management principles and trade very aggressively to meet those funding targets. So this might also not be the optimal choice if you think that I don't have a lot of money, I don't have a lot of savings, but the funding challenges is just what is going to save me and what is going to help me. I have seen that not for many traders or not for all traders, this is the right answer. Trading your own capital can be done on your own terms, which again helps you trade much more stress-free. And finally, I also want to address the point that it is very important to address that you must be open to admitting when trading is not for you, when you come to the conclusion trading might just not be the right fit for you. And I've seen many traders after 5 or 10 years that still haven't made any real progress and are still continuously losing money in their trading while also not enjoying it and not having fun or not being passionate anymore about it. It's more of they feel that they have invested so much time, so much money already that they are too deep in to throw in the towel. And then trading is just an expensive hobby that is also taking away joy out of you, rather than something that will ever be able to pay your bills. And I also don't think that there's anything wrong with admitting that trading is not for you and that you see your strengths somewhere else. There are endless opportunities, there are endless things that you can do with your time if you see your future somewhere else. And there's no shame in trying something new. Don't make the mistake of believing that just because you have spent 2, 3, 4 years trying to make trading work, you cannot pivot in your life. So to wrap this podcast up, here is a summary of the most important points that I've just talked about. First of all, it's so important to realize that you have time, you don't have to rush things, and time is actually on your side. It's also important, adopt a realistic performance goal of maybe anywhere between 2 and 3% a month, and you will be able to see that this is actually achievable. And give yourself maybe 10 or 20 years instead of trying to turn a $2,000 account into 10 million in 2 or 3 years. This will just lead to bad decision making and you will actually not make any real progress. Also, in the beginning, in your first 12 to 24, maybe even 36 months, you try to find out whether you are a day trader and whether you are a swing trader. And this is a really, really important discovery that you need to make in order to then make the right decisions going forward and find the optimal trading approach for you. Also, approach trading professionally and dedicate time. You backtest regularly, you keep a trading journal, and you know how to size your trades correctly so that you have a solid risk management approach. Get a real education, learn a job, develop skills beside your trading ambitions. Don't trade full-time right away. Having a job that pays the bills and also allows you to save money and put money aside is really important. And finally, it is totally okay to admit when trading is not for you and to move on to find something that you absolutely enjoy and love. When was the last time that this happened to you? You pull up a price chart, you see this huge trending move, and you are frustrated because you missed the move either completely or you only got a little bit out of it and you missed most of the big move. And then what did you do? You pull up the chart and you try to find reasons, you try to find signals, you maybe change your indicator setting, maybe you completely use a new indicator to just try to come up with ways how you could have gotten into the trade early on and made a fortune. And then you change your trading strategy, you apply those new rules for the next trade because you think that this is how you're going to make a lot of money going forward because it would have worked in the past. What has happened here is that you have become the victim of the so-called hindsight bias. And the hindsight bias is just one of many psychological biases that are constantly at work. They are influencing our decision making not only in trading but also outside of trading. And in this video I want to focus on the 5 most prominent, most damaging as well psychological biases. I want to explain what they do, how they influence your trading, and also provide a few tips on how to improve your trading and how to make sure that you're not becoming a victim of those. However, I want to answer the question of what is a bias before we get more into the video. And a psychological bias is like a mental shortcut or a pre-programmed response that our brain uses to help us make decisions faster and hopefully more effectively. The bias and the decision-making shortcut is often based on our previous experiences, our beliefs, and also on our assumptions. Biases in general help us make sense of the world around us and help us respond quickly, especially when we have incomplete information, which is often the case in trading, or when we're dealing with too much information to take everything in, which is also true for trading because there's just so much information. We can make use of technical analysis, price action, we can use fundamental analysis, we can talk to other traders, we can use a wide variety of indicators and different tools. And therefore we are often falling back into using biases because then we can make quick decisions fast. However, they're not always optimal. And I want to take a look at 5 of the most common and most problematic biases. I've already mentioned the hindsight bias, and another one is the so-called sunk cost fallacy. And what happens is that traders often continue to add to a losing trading position because of the time and or the money that they have already invested in their trade. Very often, especially when you're on the higher time frames, a lot of time goes into creating trading plans, waiting for the right trade, and then being in the trade. And then naturally, if the trade goes against you, you don't feel great and you have invested all this time and now the trade is not working out. However, what those traders then often do is that they either move their stop loss further away so that they delay loss taking because they think it has to turn around, or they completely take off their stop loss, or they add to a losing position so that if the trade turns around and if the price turns around, you will be back at break even much faster. and you are really getting married to the trade idea. And this is the sunk cost fallacy. You have invested so much time in this trade idea, and it has taken so much time to stalk the trade, to execute the trade, that you don't want to abandon this trade idea, and you want to follow it through. You really want this to work out because you have invested so much time. However, the best thing is obviously to cut the loss, to look objectively at the trade, look at your trading plan. What was the trading plan idea when you entered the trade? And then when you see that the price is not agreeing with your trading idea, when there are obvious signs and objective signs that you should have closed the trade a while ago, then the best thing is to actually go to the trade and close it. And then you have to wait for the next trade naturally. And I fully understand that it is not always as easy as it may sound, but you have to start noticing those negative biases that are impacting your trading decisions so that you know why you're doing a certain thing, and then you can actively control your decision making and improve your processes. The next one is the gambler's fallacy bias, and this one is quite interesting, quite fascinating. And what happens is that people tend to believe that past events can influence future outcomes in situations that are in fact completely random. So here's an example from the normal world. And when you flip a coin and 5 times in a row head comes up, what do people now believe? They believe that now tail is more likely to occur on the next flip because head has come up so many times in a row, and they believe that they are overdue for a tail. However, obviously, when you spin a coin, the coin doesn't care, and it doesn't matter what has happened on the last 1, 2, 3, or 4 coin flips. Each coin flip is completely unique, it is random, and it's not influenced by what the coin has shown in the past. Of course, it's not very common to see those long streaks of heads or tails in a row. However, when we look just purely at the math, then it is absolutely possible to see 5, 6, or 10 times heads in a row. And it doesn't change the outcome of the next spin. You always have a 50-50 chance of seeing heads or tail. And the same is true for trading. In trading, many traders believe that after they have maybe had 5 losses in a row, that they are overdue for a winning trade next. And what they do then is that they size up their position because they think, okay, now is the time, I'm overdue for a winning trade. And if the winning trade comes around, I want to hit it big and make the big profit that will get me out of this losing streak. Of course, even if your last 10 trades have been losses, the next trade doesn't have a higher chance of becoming a winner or a loss. It's always the same. And therefore, it is really, really dangerous to change your position sizing based on a trade-to-trade basis. You should have a general position sizing rule, how much you want to risk, 1%, 2%, 0.5%, maybe even 3%. However, you have to stick to your position sizing rules and then play it through. Don't change your position sizing based on what has happened in the past because you think that it may impact your future probabilities. It doesn't. Next is the loss aversion bias, and this refers to the tendency for people to strongly prefer avoiding losses over realizing profits. And there have even been some studies that suggest that losses are twice as powerful, psychologically speaking, as profits. This is really fascinating. And simply put, this means the pain of losing psychologically is about twice as powerful as the pleasure of winning. So in trading, I'm sure you have all been through this and you have seen that losses hurt much, much more. And we try to do everything we can in our power to avoid realizing a loss. And as long as traders keep their losses open and don't close their trade, they believe that the market will still turn around. It doesn't hurt as much, even if you see that the unrealized loss is getting larger and larger and larger. But until you haven't closed the loss, you still have some hope that the price will turn around. And here, the most important thing is that you have to use a trading plan. Before you get into a trade, you know where to get in, you know where to get out, you know exactly where you put your stop loss, and you have to understand under which circumstances, under which conditions you will close your trade, whether it's a losing trade, whether it's a winning trade. And this is absolutely important. There is this famous quote, the last moment of objectivity is before you pull the trigger. And once you're in the trade, often you are stop being rational and then emotions take over. When the money is on the line, our decision making and our thinking completely changes. And that's why it's so important that we need to have a trading plan in place before we get into a trade so that we don't become victim of our biases. And those biases are so deeply hardwired into our human decision making that it is really hard to combat them. But if you have better processes, if you have an action plan in place, and you also know what to look for and what to avoid, that can already make a big difference. Next is the confirmation bias. And the confirmation bias refers to the tendency to favor and remember information in a way that confirms our pre-existing beliefs or hypotheses, while at the same time ignoring information that would contradict them. So, for example, when you're in a trade and let's say your strategy gave you a buy signal for the euro US dollar and now you are in a long trade. And a few hours later you come back to your charts to check your trade. The price action now doesn't look as bullish anymore, and there are very clear signs that your trade idea might not work out. And maybe even your trading strategy would tell you objectively that now is a time to close your trade because it's not working out. However, because of the confirmation bias, you may neglect the bearish signs and you may neglect focusing on the objective signs that the trade idea is not working out, and you disproportionately focus on the bullish signs, even though when it means using tools and indicators and concepts that you typically would not use in your trading strategy. I've seen it many times. Traders are in a long trade. They have a very specific and rigid set of rules. They know exactly the tools that you're using. And then the trade is going against them. And then they're suddenly asking friends. They're looking on social media. They may be even adding a completely new trading tool, a new indicator. Maybe they're messing with their moving average setting. Instead of a 50, they go to a 30, and a 30 EMA suddenly tells them that it would actually be okay to stay in the trade because the moving average would still give them a favorable signal. And then they remain in the trade even though their real tested trading system would tell them otherwise. And this bias obviously can lead to poor decision making, and it also leads to a lot of inconsistencies in your trading. And it is really important that you only make trading decisions based on the trading rules and the trading system that you have also backtested. Because in the backtest you can validate, at least to some extent, that in the past this trading strategy has made money, and therefore you would expect a higher likelihood that the same results can be achieved in the future. However, when you then start messing around with your system and you completely destroy your system by adding new things, jumping around time frames, and just trying to look for confirmation that would help you to stay in the trade, obviously that's a very, very bad way of going about your trading. Now let's talk about the ostrich bias. And the ostrich bias is when traders ignore negative information, similar to an ostrich burying its head in the sand. In trading, this could mean that traders do not stick to their trading plan and do not act even though their trade is going against them, turning into a much larger loss, and they should have closed the trade long ago. And such traders also avoid looking at their broker balance just because they don't want to face reality, and they somehow believe or hope that the problem will somehow fix itself. And obviously this is a really, really bad way of going about your trading. If you're closing the eyes in front of reality and you're not facing your problems heads on, they're not going to fix themselves. They're just going to get worse and worse and worse. And therefore it is really important that you understand you have to be very, very honest with yourself. You have to look at your broker. You have to look at the trading data in your trading journal. You have to confront your mistakes. And then once you are honest with yourself, once you really see what you have been doing wrong, why you've been losing money that much over such a long period, only then are you able to come up with an action plan, and you only then are you really ready to look for solutions to your problems. So before I let you go, I just have a few final tips for overcoming biases and improving your trading performance. And psychological biases can impact trading decisions, lead to costly mistakes, and damage your trading long term. And overcoming those biases requires, first of all, awareness and also discipline. And awareness allows the trader to notice that their decision making is impaired and not done objectively. And to raise your level of awareness, keeping a trading journal such as the XAUUSD trading journal, which we developed, will help you relive your trades, and it also allows you to start noticing negative and destructive patterns in your trading. I've met so many traders that after they have closed a trade will never look at their past trades ever again, and then obviously it's nearly impossible to find out what you've been doing wrong and also come up with ways how you can improve your trading going forward. So it's absolutely essential that you become more aware of what's going on in your trading. You actually look at your trading data so that you can find those negative patterns and develop better coping mechanisms. And second, discipline is needed to resist the urge to engage in your negative patterns. Biases, as I said, are really deeply hardwired into the human decision-making mechanisms. And overcoming biases requires time and patience. It's important to realize that improving your approach to trading is a process. And you should not get discouraged when you fall back into your old patterns from time to time. It's absolutely normal. You just generally want to make sure that overall, by and large, you're making better decisions this month than you did last month. And over time, you want to make sure that you're slowly building a better process. You don't expect that next week, just because you've watched this video, you will suddenly stop making all of these mistakes. You need to put in the time, you need to put in the work, keeping a trading journal, backtesting, very good record keeping, and being very aware and maybe even talking to other traders about this can make a huge difference. And what I would recommend is that you work on one aspect at a time. You strive to make informed decisions by heightening your level of self-awareness, and then you continuously refine your trading processes. And then over time, with perseverance, with patience, and with a lot of discipline, you will witness an improvement in your trading. I'm very sure of that. I've seen it many times in my traders as well. Welcome back to the Trade Society Traders Improve podcast. Today I want to go over the question or questions: how do you become a better trader? And what are the most important things a trader can do in order to improve their trading? And I hopefully have some interesting thoughts and also practical tips for any trader to improve their trading and look at their trading differently, especially if you're maybe stuck in a rut, you don't know how to go forward from where you are currently. Hopefully this episode has some insights for you. And before we get going, just some housekeeping. No ads, but I just want to let you know that I have decided to go after a 2-week podcast scheduling schedule. So what I mean is that I plan to release a podcast episode every 2 weeks. The last one that I've released was pretty much exactly 14 days ago. And so from now on, I will continue this bi-weekly posting schedule. If you want to have more content from me, then just go over to my YouTube channel, where I religiously post every week, every Tuesday, there's a new YouTube video. But now let's get back to the podcast episode. And if I can remind you, I want to discover and I want to go after the question: how do you become better as a trader? And what are the most important things a trader can do in order to improve their trading? And I want to find the answer to those questions that are objectively good. I want to identify things, activities that you can do in your trading where, when you ask different traders, all of them will agree that if you do those things, they're objectively good for you and they will make you a better trader. But to help you understand the concepts, I want to first look outside of the world of trading. And I've done this in previous podcast episodes, and I think this approach is quite helpful because, especially for new traders, the answers that I'm giving in the context of trading are not always as straightforward. But when we look at something outside of trading, where everybody has had experiences in the past, it is much, much clearer. And for that, I've chosen the topic or the general idea of how do you get in shape. We all have probably been somewhere in our lives where we want to improve our health, where we want to get in shape, and I think we all can relate to this. And when we look at this, and I've been there myself, this is why I know this so well, many people, me included, I was getting lost in the details. And I spent days, and at some point I might have even spent a few weeks. I was reading articles, I was watching YouTube videos, and I was trying to figure out the perfect program before even getting started and before even doing the first exercise. But does it really matter how you perform your set at the gym specifically? Does it matter how much rest you have between the sets? Does it matter whether you have 30 or 60 seconds rest? Does it matter whether you make 8 or 15 reps per set? And does it make a difference whether you train all muscle groups at once or whether you split your muscle groups over different workouts. And people, me included, do all this research while at the same time they haven't even done a single exercise. You haven't, and I hadn't even lift a single dumbbell, and still at the same time had a very sedentary lifestyle. I was neglecting my sleep, but I was not getting started. And at the same time, does it make sense to obsess about the perfect diet, wondering whether you should have an 8 or a 6 hour feeding window when you do intermittent fasting? Does it make sense to wonder whether fruits are acceptable in a low carb diet? Does it make sense to worry about whether coffee or tea will break your fast, and endlessly looking for the optimal meal plan with the right macronutrient breakdown, all the while still haven't made any real shifts, still eating processed foods, still eating junk foods every now and then, drinking too much alcohol and consuming sugary pop sodas? And obviously the right, the sensible and the objectively true thing would be to just get started. You go for a walk twice a week, you move more, you start doing some bodyweight exercises at home. You don't need the perfect plan. You can just Google bodyweight exercises and you find something within 5 minutes. You ditch sugary drinks, you eat more whole foods, you reduce your alcohol and your junk food intake. And even a 10-minute exercise routine at home, a brisk walk every other day would already be a huge improvement for many people. However, getting lost in the details without even starting is pointless, and it's keeping you from making progress or even getting started in some cases. And we can all agree that making such changes would lead to a positive development. It is the key to just get started, even if it's not the perfect start, even if it's not the perfect routine. Getting started is the key. And then over time you can make slightly improvements over time and then move into the right direction. But enough with that, I want to bring it back to trading. And I've mentored hundreds and hundreds of traders over the years, and I keep seeing the same patterns all the time. A new or a struggling trader comes to me and they ask whether they should use a 20 or a 30 period EMA, maybe an SMA, what is better? Whether you should use the wicks or the candlestick bodies when you're drawing support and resistance trend lines. And if you should use a break-even stop loss or not move the stop loss at all. And the list with such questions is seemingly endless. Do you use the RSI or the stochastic as a momentum indicator? Is it really a pin bar when you have a small wick sticking out at the pin bar body? Should you use the 15 or the 30 minute time frame? Is it better to use MetaTrader 4 or 5? Should I go to broker X that has a 1 pip spread or broker Y that has a 2 pip spread? And all those questions might seem important, and there's certainly a place and a time to ask such questions, but when traders at the same time still over leverage, they risk 20 or 30% per trade, they revenge trade regularly, they change their trading system all the time as soon as a loss occurs. Traders never create a trading plan, they have no trading rules, they impulsively jump through time frames without a plan, they don't have a trading journal, they never backtest. None of those super specific questions that I've listed before matters. Okay, so now let's get to the most important question. What are those core principles in trading that will build the right foundation for a successful trader? And in the context of getting in shape and living healthier, we were able to find those obvious, common sense answers that would lead to greater results. And do we have that in trading as well? And luckily, the answer is yes. And I've worked with enough traders to confidently say that there are certain things that you can do that are objectively good for your overall development as a trader, and they will put you on the right path. The first thing on the list is stable risk management, or having some risk management principles at all. Because no matter what strategy you're going to trade, being able to apply risk management principles is the key. So what are those? First and foremost, being able to size your trade correctly so that you do not lose more than 1 or 2% per trade is so important. I'm always shocked to see how few traders are able to correctly size a trade. And this is actually not very difficult. You just have to measure the distance between your entry and your stop loss. Then you pull up a position sizing calculator and you can just Google position sizing calculator and you will find something within minutes. Type in your trading account size, you type in the desired risk level, and the calculator tells you exactly how many lots or contracts you have to buy to achieve your desired risk level, 1 or 2% per trade. And it might even be easier because some platforms like MetaTrader 4 or 5, there are so many scripts available out there that you can find scripts that automatically do the position sizing for you. The second thing on the list is another crucial skill any trader can develop that will undoubtedly be beneficial is backtesting. You write down a few trading parameters of your trading strategy with rules for your entries, for your stop loss, and for your exit. And then you go through historic data to test how much money the strategy would have made in the past, or maybe even lost. And among the traders that I'm mentoring and have mentored, the correlation between backtesting and good results in the future is astounding. The traders that spend the most time in backtesting are often the ones that see the biggest progress over time. Backtesting improves your pattern recognition and it also trains your eye to see charts differently. But it also allows you to collect important statistics about the performance of a trading strategy. Next thing on the list of beneficial activities is writing trading plans. Backtesting forces you to think about the rules of your trading strategy. If you don't have rules, then obviously you cannot perform a good backtest. And I'm always constantly blown away by the numbers of traders that do not have clear trading rules. You don't need perfect rules, but you need to have some rules. Before you take another trade, you have to sit down and you write down your trading rules. What signals a trade entry? How do you place your stop loss? What's your rule for targets? How do you manage your trades? Again, your rules won't be perfect at the beginning, but they will bring more consistency to your trading and you can use those rules for your backtesting. And over time, based on your backtesting results and based on your trading results, you can then keep improving your trading results week after week. But you have to get started having trading rules. And finally, tracking your trading data and looking for negative patterns in your trading is something that is objectively good and any trader will benefit from it. Every trade that you take, you have to review. It doesn't have to be a special deep review, but you should spend at least 2 or 3 minutes with each trade and you can ask the following questions. Was my entry good or did I break my trading rules? Did I trade emotionally? Did I follow my risk management principles? Did I manage my trade correctly according to my rules? And could I have done anything better with the trade? If you keep asking those questions and you keep writing down your answers over time, you will create a great archive with all the answers that you will need to trade successfully. So let me recap. What are objectively beneficial things in your trading that any trader can do to improve their trading? And here it doesn't matter what you trade, whether you trade Forex, cryptos, stocks, whether you are a short-term or a long-term trader. First, position sizing. Learn position sizing. Second, backtesting. Third, trading plans and trading rules. And fourth, record keeping and journaling. You don't have to do everything at once, but pick one thing and try implementing it over the next week. You just have to get going. And then over time, you can keep coming back to those principles. You can keep refining it. You can keep improving it. However, you have to get started. Worrying about whether you're going to have the perfect routine or not doesn't make sense. You need to get started and then over time, you will keep improving. Welcome back to the TradeSighty Traders Improve podcast. And today I am talking about entry mistakes and how you can improve your trade entries. And when it comes to taking trade entries, there are usually two major complaints and struggles that the traders face. Either the trade entry is too early or it is too late. Taking and timing the perfect entry is a very tough challenge. It's also very rare. And I will also cover the perfect entry in this podcast. So I will try to provide tips and practical tips that you can apply in your trading to combat the struggles that come with taking too early entries and entries that are too late. And let's start by taking a look at entries that are seemingly too early. Alright, so what is an early entry? And there are two types of early entries we can differentiate here. First, the price would have made it to your target, but you enter too early, you get taken out by a move against you, and then the price would return back to your target. And those are early entries that are just a little bit early, or maybe the chosen stop loss is not ideal and too small, and then the trader gets kicked out. But there are also early entries where traders buy an instrument that just keeps going down, hoping that the price will eventually turn, and the traders believe that the price is overdue for a reversal. How often have you told yourself that it has to go up, it has been going down for so long? Or in the case of a long-term bullish market, which we are currently seeing in a lot of indices, there are always perma bears that will keep trying to short the price even when there are no objective reasons. And there are different mechanisms at play here. First, FOMO, the fear of missing out. And here the traders worry that the price will take off without them and they're going to miss all the profits. And on the other hand, there's also a greed component. The traders are trying to pick a bottom or a top in the hope to land a so-called home run trade. And this is pretty much the definition of a reckless gambler, trying to hit a single home run trade instead of trying to grow a trading account the slow and the steady way, which should be the goal. So how do you deal with early entries and how can you improve your early entries? In the case of just slightly early entries, experience will help out a lot. And unfortunately, there is no shortcut, but there are some tips and some things that you can do. And once you have seen the same setup dozens or maybe even hundreds of times, you will know that waiting for the actual signal to occur is the right call, and that jumping in too early usually leads to bad outcomes and losses. And especially if you have a trading journal and you have saved screenshots from all of your trades, you will quickly understand what to expect from your trades and the price behavior. Also, backtesting helps a lot here. I have traders in my group who have backtested the same rules on historic data for hundreds and hundreds of times. So they have collected hundreds of screenshots from possible or potential trade ideas. And once you have done that, you can go through the screenshots and then you will see what happens if you go into early, what happens to the price, how does it move. And then over time, you will learn by just seeing the same pattern over and over again that it is a losing game, it's a losing endeavor to try to get into early. However, it is also important to realize that sometimes the price will just move too quickly and the trade will happen without you. And letting such trading opportunities go and not chase the price is the right answer in such cases. And this is totally fine. The next good trade is just around the corner. And it's so important to just keep reminding yourself. And you do not want to ruin your trading performance by taking the trades you know you shouldn't have avoided. On the other hand, when it comes to way too early entries that are pretty much just gambling, there's just one answer. And you have to stop this behavior and you have to acknowledge that this is not how professional trading looks like. And trying to hit for or to swing for the home run trade might work occasionally, but in 90% of the times you will run into a loser, and it's also really, really frustrating when you keep buying a market that just keeps going down. And there are two things that happen to traders who take such home run trades. First,